Hi, my name is Lynn Conner. I'm a primary therapist at HopeWay, and one of the things that I talk to my clients about is grounding techniques. The idea of being grounded is really just about being connected to the present moment. And it's a great tool to use when you need to calm yourself when you're feeling anxious or when you're having flashbacks from trauma, or just really any time when you're feeling emotionally heightened and you want to be able to self-soothe, calm yourself, and kind of bring yourself back to what's happening in your present moment. So one of the grounding techniques that we use is the 5-4-3-2-1 technique, and it moves us through all of the senses. So we're going to work on naming 5 things that we can see, 4 things that we can feel, 3 things that we can hear, 2 things that we can smell, and 1 thing that we can taste. What you'll start out with for 5-4-3-2-1 is focusing on the sense of sight. So looking around the room or looking wherever you are and pointing out 5 things that you can see. And you'll identify those things by either saying them out loud or saying them to yourself in your head. So it's really helpful if you point out specific things and describe things in detail, just to help with that self-soothing and to help with distracting you from those very intense emotions. So for instance, if one of the things that you identify for sight is, I notice a blue carpet here, instead of just saying that it's a blue carpet, you will point out maybe if there's a point in the carpet where the pattern changes or the texture changes, pointing out those specific things that you're able to see. So the next sense that we're going to move into is touch, and you're going to identify 4 things that you can feel. You can feel your clothing, you can feel the chair that you're sitting in, you can feel a cup that's in front of you, and it's really helpful if you close your eyes while you're working through this sense, just so you can really focus in on that texture. After you identify 4 things that you can feel, you would then move into the next sense, which would be hearing, and you would identify 3 things that you can hear. Focus on maybe sounds that are apparent, but also sounds that are not as noticeable. So the next sense that we're going to move on to is smell. So just focusing on the smells that are in the room and identifying 2 things that you can smell. And the last sense that we're going to talk about is taste. So you're going to identify 1 thing that you can taste. Oftentimes it helps if you maybe pop a piece of gum in your mouth or a piece of candy, where you can really be mindful and focus on the different flavors that come up as you're chewing or as you're eating the candy. If you don't have gum or candy readily available, then that's okay. It just takes a little bit more mindfulness to really focus on what taste is present in your mouth. Maybe if you focus enough, you can taste the your toothpaste from earlier this morning, or the coffee that you drank earlier. So we just went over the 5-4-3-2-1 technique with your senses. And as you get comfortable with this technique, you'll find a pace that feels right for you, whether it's to move through it slowly so that you can be more mindful, or to go through it a little bit more quickly. One tip that I would add for you is to practice this technique even when you're not feeling anxious, just so that you can get more comfortable with it. And when in those moments when you are feeling anxious, you can have this tool readily available to you. I hope you found this helpful, and I hope it's something that you can use in your everyday life.